Hey guys, welcome back to Vishal's Easy German. Today we will be learning a lot of stuff, but and all of it will combine to help you learn how to make sentences in German. So in English, you need a subject and a verb to have a proper sentence. So example would be he plays. But in most sentences follow the verb. So to add to that first sentence, you can say he plays sports. In German, you need a subject, then a verb, plus miscellaneous, which is like nouns and at and prepositions and stuff like that. So today, we'll be learning how to do personal pronoun as the subject, a verb in the middle, and then noun at the end. So there are other ways to write sentences in German. You can have the noun first, and then the verb, and then the subject. And sometimes a noun can be the subject, like the boy plays football. The boy is a noun, and that takes place of the subject. So in English, these are the personal pronouns that you'll need to know the German version of. So I, you, he, she, it, we, you guys, they, and you. So there's a you informal and a you formal. And then there's also you guys, which is like more multiple people when you're talking to multiple people. So now them in German. So for I, it's ich. So for the first one, it's really like you're saying an S instead of a C. Du is you. That one sounds pretty similar to you. Er is he. Sie is she. Es is it. Wir is we. Ihr is you guys. And at the end, there's two more Z's. Z for they, and then Z for you. So now I'm just going to say the German version, and I want you to repeat them out loud just to get the pronunciation down. So ich, du, er, sie, es, wir, ihr, sie, and sie. Alright, so now for the second part of the sentence, which is the verb. So in German, there are two types of verbs, regular verbs and irregular verbs. Today we'll be talking about regular verbs, and the two verbs we'll be like I'll use in the examples are machen, which is to make or like to do, and then spielen is to play. So I'll just repeat the pronunciation. Machen and spielen. So remember, you gotta have personal pronoun first and then verb. So it should be ich spielen, which you're saying, if you wanted to say I play, it should be ich spielen, but that's wrong. In German, there are conjugations, and the definition is to give the different forms of a verb in an inflected language as they vary according to voice, mood, tense, number, and person. So every verb must be conjugated in every sentence that you make in German, because verbs will always be in sentences. So for regular verbs, conjugations are very simple and consistent throughout. But for irregular verbs, sometimes the verb can change, like the entire verb can change, or the ending can also change. So just today we'll be talking about regular verbs to keep it simple. So each verb has a stem. So for machen, all you have to do is take out the en, and then you have the stem, which is mach. So on most verbs, there's either an en or a t at the end. And all you have to do is get rid of the en, and then you have to get the verb, the stem. So for spielen, you get rid of the en, and then you get the stem of spiel. And remember, the pronunciation, you have to pronounce the e, because the rule of IE and EI, you always pronounce the second vowel. So it's pronounced spiel, because you pronounce the E instead of the I. So the conjugations for each personal pronoun: ish, you add an E to the end of the stem. For do, you add an ST to the end. For Z, and S, you add a T to the end. I'm just going to group those three personal pronouns together because they're always the same no matter what. Wir, you add an en to the stem. Ihr, you also add a T. And then Z and Z, the you formal and the they, you add an en to it, to the end of the stem. So the proper way for ish, you add an E to the end. So you get ish mache and ish spiele. So you add an n to the stem to get the proper pronunciation. For do, you add the st. So you do machst and du spielst. I just added the st to the end of the stem and got the proper conjugation. So for Z and S, you add a T to the end. So you get macht, spielt, Z macht, Z spielt, and S macht and S spielt. For wir, you just add an en, and that just goes back to the original verb. So it's wir machen and wir spielen. So for ihr, you've added T to the end. So you get ihr macht and ihr spielt. And for the last two, you get Sie machen and Sie spielen, and then Sie machen and Sie spielen. So the difference between Sie, they, and Sie formal or you formal is that the Z for they will always be lowercase in a sentence, no matter where it is. And for Sie machen, for the Z you formal, the Z will always be capitalized, no matter where it is in the sentence. So if it's the third position, it'll still be capitalized. So now for the last part of the sentence. Nouns are not necessary in sentences, but they add more detail to the sentence. So in the last video, I talked about genders of nouns, and it's important to know the genders of each noun, so make sure you watch that video. So now I'm just going to give a bunch of nouns that you can use and put at the end of the sentences, at the end of sentences. So I grouped them in categories by the gender. So I have masculine at the top, feminine in the middle, and neuter at the bottom. So I'll just pronounce them first, and then I'll have you guys repeat them after. So the first one is der Ball, der Rucksack, der Fluss, der Tag, der Basketball, and der Fußball. for feminine nouns, you have die Straße, die Uhr, die Hausaufgabe, und die Frau. Now last for neuter, das Wasser, das Kind, das Buch, das Auto, das Jahr, und das Cricket. So now I'm just going to repeat them again, and I want you guys to repeat them out loud after I say them. So, der Ball, der Rucksack, der Fluss, der Tag, der Basketball, und der Fußball. Now for the feminine nouns, die Straße, die Uhr, die Hausaufgabe. So for this noun, it's split up. You have to split it up into like 3 syllables. So you have house, which is house, then auf, and then Gabe. So you gotta say it in like sort of like that. So Hausaufgabe would be how you pronounce it, and die Frau. And last, das Wasser, das Kind, das Buch, das Auto, das Jahr, und das Cricket. Now for some sentences with personal pronouns, verb, and a noun at the end to make a proper full sentence. So we have Ich spiele Basketball. And remember from the nouns video, all nouns are capitalized no matter where they are in the sentence. So for the first sentence, I have the personal pronoun ich, so I add an E to the end, making Ich spiele Basketball. For the second sentence, I have spielt Fußball. Remember the noun is capitalized, and I have for my personal pronoun so I have to add a T to the end of the stem of Spiel, so I add spielt Fußball. For the third sentence, du machst Hausaufgabe. So I'm saying you are doing homework. So remember, do, you add an ST to the end. So to the stem of mach. So you get machst. And for the last one, wir machen das Auto. So wir, the ending you have to add is en. So we have wir machen das Auto. Just remember, in sentences, verbs are always going to be in second position. So if you have a personal pronoun at the beginning, you say ich spiele, and then add whatever you want. And then die Frau macht, saying the woman does or makes. Macht is always going to be second. And even if you're asking questions, the verb will be in second position, no matter what. That's just a little tip to remember when creating sentences. Alright, thanks for watching. Make sure you leave a comment, like, and subscribe. Make sure, so for this episode and the last ones, I've been adding extra work for you guys to do in the description of the video. So you can do that and leave your answers in the comments, and if you want to share your answers, and I can always help and respond to your answers. Alright guys, thanks for watching. See you later.